guys, it's Nachauntae. Welcome to my channel. If you've been here before, welcome back. If you missed last week's video of me creating these custom Paw Patrol shoes, you definitely want to go and check that out. Also, if you haven't subscribed yet, you should go do that now so you don't miss out on any of my videos. For this week, I wanted to share with you guys my latest original artwork. It's been a pretty busy couple of months working on some other projects, so I haven't really painted an actual canvas piece for about a month and a half or so, since I did my 90s cartoon challenge back in October. So it was really exciting to kind of get back into that and actually paint on a canvas. You guys already follow me on Instagram at artXnachauntae. You would have already known that in October I did a 31-day challenge, essentially as a way to get back into painting more regularly and committing myself to painting a day for the 31 days of October. And I chose the theme of 90s cartoons because it's really nostalgic for me, and it's pretty much how I got started painting, so why not? So essentially I have a ton of footage from that month that I need to go through and edit, so eventually I'll get to all of that and be on the lookout. I'll share all those details with you guys here on YouTube and the process of me creating those paintings for 31 days. So I received this commission for a pretty huge painting. It was total 3 feet by 8 feet, and I was pretty much given free reign design wise. This was for a customer who I worked with before, who has a number of my pieces in his home, so I had a good sense of his style and the aesthetic he was going for. I'll share some pictures of those other pieces when I show you guys the final piece closer to the end of the video. So for this, because where the piece was going to be was a pretty large space, I could not find a single canvas that would fit. So I actually used two canvases, which were 3 feet by 4 feet, and put those together to create the one 3 foot by 8 foot piece. Creating this one was definitely fun for me. It was a different style than most of my past work, and I was just able to create something so simple yet intricate all at the same time. So anyways, enough about me. Let's get into the painting. So as mentioned, I used two canvases to make this piece, and this time around I started with painting the trim because I just wanted to go with the solid black and do that first, so it just gives me peace of mind later that it's already completed, and I'll just need to do minor touch-ups once it's done. I'm definitely one of those painters that does not like a unpainted edge. So once the edges were dry, I started with the background. Because the canvases were quite big, it was a lot more time efficient to just pour the paint directly on the canvas and then brush it across the whole canvas afterwards. I started with a red base and a few hints of yellow to do the initial base coat. And afterwards I added a second coat with more yellow, as well as a bit of added orange and brown to add a bit more of dimension. And then finally I wanted to add this kind of like abstract design over top. So essentially all I did was place lines of paint across the canvas and then use just a basic putty knife to scrape the paint across the canvas in random up and down strokes, using all of the same colors that I used in the background, so the red, brown, orange, and yellow. And then I also threw in some black and white just to add a little extra something and make it really pop. This was my first time trying this technique, and it honestly came out way better than I had even imagined initially, so I will definitely be using this technique again in the future. So once the background was fully dry, I could then start on the foreground. For this, my design here was kind of an African theme. So I chose to do the silhouette of two African women kind of in movement, like they're dancing. So I didn't want to cover too much of the amazing background that I did, that I was so happy with. So I chose to do just silhouettes of the women. So I first sketched them out with a white charcoal pencil, and then I went over it with this gold paint. I then decided that I wanted to add a bit of extra texture to the silhouettes, so I decided to use this technique that I've used in the past, where I essentially just use a glue gun and trace the full outline. Once the glue is dried, I just go over it again with the gold paint, and then for a final added touch, I just added a black highlight so that the silhouettes kind of really pop and jump out at you even more. As I mentioned before, this piece was for a customer of mine who has a number of my pieces already. He's actually a really good family friend. So I actually installed the piece for him when I delivered it. So here I am installing it. I was going right above a staircase, so I had to rely on a ladder resting on the stairs, which admittedly I was extremely nervous about. I was not convinced that it was going to hold up. And I was terrified every step of the way, but obviously I'm still here. I made it. I was successful, so it's all good. Here are the other pieces that I promised you. So first was this set of 4 tribal masks, where I actually used that same glue gun technique. And then there's the African sunset, and then lastly the 3 dancing women. So I really hope you guys enjoyed the video and the painting. Hopefully you learned a little bit more about my process of creating the piece. Unfortunately, I have an extremely busy couple of weeks ahead of me, so I likely won't get to create another canvas piece for a while. But I think the theme of this latest piece that I just finished was kind of a perfect segue to some really exciting news that I have. In just 2 weeks, I'm going to be traveling to Africa, and I am so excited about it. I definitely have a lot more details to come, which I'll share with you guys over the next couple of weeks. But in the meantime, please like and comment below if you haven't already. Please subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out. See you guys next Friday.